I want to be a filmmaker, you want to be a filmmaker, let's talk about it. So today's video is all about a new idea I came up with a couple months ago. It's a new way to practice directing. As directors, one of our main jobs is trying to figure out the best way to show instead of tell, showing what we think the words on paper should look like as an image and a sequence of events. It's tough to come up with original ways to shoot things, but if you are really like passionate about becoming a director, I think this is something that everyone should try. It's a lot of fun and it's really kind of eye-opening. So without further ado, let's get started with it. As you can tell by the title of the video, I call this technique the old switcheroo. So here's how to do it. Step one is you need to pick a movie that you haven't seen yet. That is key to this whole thing, that you haven't seen yet, but you want to see. Step two is find the screenplay for it. You can find pretty much any screenplay PDF online. Find it, read the entire thing. Step three, pick a scene that you like, that you think you can shoot easily. You don't have to make this complicated. This is really simple and something that should just be a lot of fun and like a practice, so you don't have to, spend a ton of money on like props or anything. Just something you can shoot easily in an hour or so. That's what I did. Once you have your scene chosen, you're gonna storyboard that. You don't have to storyboard the scene. I did for this one that I did, but I always think it's a good idea to do it. It's obviously not necessary, but I think it's a good idea to do. Then you want to go out and shoot the scene. And finally, edit it all together and watch it back. Now, after you have watched your version of that scene, maybe a 1 to 2 minute scene, I think mine's about 1:30. After you've watched that entirely, all the way through, you're going to go and watch that movie now, finally. You're going to watch the movie, and you're going to see how they shot that scene versus how you shot the scene. You don't have to take notes while you're watching and comparing, but I did. I think it was kind of like helpful to be able to look back on those notes and think about them as I was like watching them side by side. So you don't have to take notes, but I recommend that you do while you're watching the real movie. So what's the goal of all this? Well, the goal of this whole thing is to show that we all have different directing styles and show that just because it was done one way in the final product for the movie doesn't mean that's always the right way. Sometimes you watch these scenes back and yours you actually like better, which is kind of common because you shot it, so it's got your own little personal flavor and influences in that. But it's really interesting to see those side-by-side comparisons of how you did it versus how a big crew shot the same scene, the exact same scene, but with more people, more money, and with different influences. So earlier this week, that is what I did. I chose a movie that I hadn't seen yet, but wanted to see. A couple months ago, I was at Target and I bought this movie. It's called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I wanted to see it, hadn't watched it yet, so that's the movie I chose. I read the whole screenplay, picked a scene, storyboarded it, shot it, and edited it together, and compared them side by side with how they shot it in the final movie. Quick disclaimer before I show you guys this scene. There's a lot of profanity in this scene. Nothing too crazy, but it's a PG-13 movie, so it's not, way over the top or anything. It's not a Quentin Tarantino movie or anything, but it is a little vulgar. So yeah, just be warned that's coming up in this scene from mine and theirs. Now, this is going to be a little confusing because you haven't read the whole script. But if you've seen the movie, this won't be confusing. But I'm Greg in the scene, and my brother's Earl. So there's that for when we talk to each other. So here is a side-by-side comparison of how I shot the scene versus how they shot the scene.
So if we make this film, people are going to be like,
if we make this film,
oh, Greg and Earl.
People are going to be like, oh, there's Greg and Earl.
They're always creepily filming.
They're those weird filmmakers. Always creepily filming stuff.
Sleeping. But people
They probably
already
sneak up
think
to your
that
house
you
in the middle of the night.
now I become completely conspicuous.
This is nasty
all
as
the
hell.
time. People are gonna look at me and think.
People probably already think that because you gave those stupid films to
Well,
Rachel.
we agreed to do a film that we have no idea what it should look like.
So
or
now I've
sound
become
like, or
completely
even be.
conspicuous
I mean, what the hell sort of
all
film
the
should we even
time.
make? Huh? I mean, what was I thinking?
When people look at me,
that girl
they think
had nice titties.
filmmaker.
I mean, I like the titties too, but now
They're
you
not
got a
already
problem,
thinking
'cause
cancer
I can
girl's
be-
boyfriend.
The hell even is this? This tastes like a dog's funky ass butthole.
Furthermore,
You know, we're gonna
we
make
agreed to do a film that we don't have any idea what it should look like or sound like or be. And I mean, what the hell kind of film can we even make? What was I thinking?
You were thinking, that girl Madison has some big-ass titties. I like the titties. And now you got a problem. And you agree to this shit, not me.
Are you not gonna help me make this?
Well, the hell we gonna make, son?
Just something that says, Rachel, hey, keep living your life. That doesn't suck.
Just gotta make it look like it don't suck.
That's the thing. As you can see, in their scene versus mine, I noticed a lot of, throughout the movie, not just this scene in particular, but throughout the movie, they have a lot of Tom Hooper influences. He did King's Speech and The Danish Girl, things like that. And just a lot of shots where a character's down in the corner, kind of right here, and there's just a lot of space everywhere else. And I think that's always really interesting to see. I didn't have any of that influence in my scene, as you could tell, or at least not a ton. And also, there's a lot of Wes Anderson influences in their movie, in, you know, the final, like, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, the final movie. There's a lot of influences from Wes Anderson and Tom Hooper. Wes Anderson with the symmetry, there's a lot of that, and the side-to-side camera movement, those things, they're more prevalent in other scenes than this one, but they're still really there. And in mine, I think there's a little bit of an Edgar Wright influence, because I took the scene a little more dramatically, but I wanted Earl, my brother, to be kind of the comedic relief in this scene. So I think anytime he was on screen, he was a little bit more like framed like an Edgar Wright movie, like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or World's End. Yeah, I think Edgar Wright was definitely a big influence in how I wanted to shoot this scene. I took the scene actually a little more dramatically than the movie did. The movie, it was a little more of a comedic feel to it. And I don't know if I just didn't get that in the script. I just didn't feel that comedic tone. But I kind of took the scene really, really seriously, and they took it in a completely different way, which is really cool to see that difference. That's what this whole exercise is about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this new exercise. It was a lot of fun, and I think it's something really clever that I'm actually really proud I came up with, because I think it's kind of an original idea to do this, and hopefully you guys think so too. If you want to try this yourself, absolutely go for it. And if you want, I will create a Google Drive and we can all throw them in there and we can see what we did. This is just a great way to see what your style and your influences are in movies. So, you know, I really like David Fincher, so there's, you know, in most scenes that I do, there's going to be some David Fincher influence. And so I think it's really cool that we all got to see kind of their influences versus mine. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, and if you guys want to try it, please do so. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This has been a Runaway Brain production. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys next time.